this week's Caring for Our Kids, as a number of illnesses continue to close East Tennessee schools, many parents are worried about the best way to keep their kids well. Well, joining us with what works and maybe what doesn't is Dr. Ryan Redmond, ER Director at Children's Hospital. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
A lot going around, so what are the common things we're seeing?
Well, we're certainly starting to see our uptick in flu, which we expect every year, kind of around this time, but it can hit really early in late fall all the way into early spring. So it looks like we're really kind of starting in the first part of that season.
Oh boy, so mainly flu. What are some other things you're seeing?
So RSV, which is also a seasonal virus that's around this time of year, is starting to come down a little bit. We had a big peak up in December for that. And of course, the usual school-related things, strep and all that stuff, is kind of always around.
All right, so school-related. Let's talk about how we can keep from spreading this. I know it can go like wildfire once it starts.
It can, and especially as you see with a lot of schools being closed, over the last several days, that's a good way of kind of trying to break up that contagion effect, because once you get kids that aren't around each other as much, it's much harder for that virus to pass. And also, it can live on surfaces for quite a while, so getting a chance to disinfect the school is usually a good idea.
Schools, daycares, that kind of thing. And, even if your child is not sick, but school is closed, you do want to keep them separated, don't you?
Exactly. This is kind of, we always say this is not the time to be, taking the time off to go in public and doing a lot of public things. The reason they've closed schools is because a lot of people are sick. You want to kind of mitigate that by being at your house as much as possible.
Let's talk about some of the major symptoms parents need to watch out for if their kids don't feel well. When do they need to come see you?
Sure. And we always say, the emergency department is always a great place to be for any of those big things, respiratory issues, dehydration issues, changes in mental status, things like that.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there's plenty of times that, we can check things out and say that things are reasonable, and that's good. That's the good use for the emergency department.
Okay. And, fever. I know we talked about this last week as well on Caring for Our Kids, but how long do they need to be fever-free before they're okay to go back to school?
You usually want to have a good period of at least kind of 24 hours of not having fever. That you still may be slightly contagious, but it's certainly much less than when you're having a fever. We know that when you're hot, the viral shedding is pretty high and pretty easy to transmit.
Plus, you just feel a little bit better, too.
Exactly. It's that you don't want to be at school when you're feeling terrible anyway.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much. I know you're busy right now. We'll let you get back to it. And a reminder for you, if you have a question about your child's health, you can email me at ltucker@wate.com. And be sure to tune in every Thursday here on WATE 6 on Your Side News at 4:30 to see if we use your question on the air. Bo, you feeling okay?
I'm feeling okay.
All right.
So far, so good.
Good.
All right.